Hey, come see me do live stand-up in Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Davenport, Iowa, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So guess what? They caught Fauci and his minions lying, trying to get around Freedom of Information requests, right? Breaking. Newly released evidence reveals that the NIH officials again, it'll never be at the NIH. Oh, these people lied at their Wikipedia page. It'll never be. Dr. Fauci lied about masks. He lied about transmission, contraction. He lied about he experimented on black kids for AIDS. Nothing. That'll never be in his Wikipedia page. Breaking. Newly released evidence reveals that the NIH officials opened an encrypted Proton Mail account, misspelled keywords. And why would you do that? You would misspell keywords, so when people tried to do a search, they couldn't find the keywords they were looking for because you intentionally misspelled them. Misspelled keywords and forwarded confidential material to Gmail in an attempt to evade federal law and FOIA requests. FOIA is Freedom of Information requests. That's Freedom of Information Act. And here's Glenn Greenwald's going to tell you what happened. Here we go.
It was on May 22nd, 2024. The Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic is a memo entitled Allegations of Wrongdoing and Illegal Activity by Dr. David Morin, Senior Advisor to the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, former Director, Dr. Anthony Fauci. And
so top advisor to Fauci and the NIH. And they're out there scamming you. They're out there doing illegal shit. And then they're figuring out ways to get around you finding out. They're all criminals. Oh, scientists are all good people, Jimmy.
Email that we're going to show you, and here's the description, quote, previous witness testimony and documents in the custody of the Select Committee on the Coronavirus Pandemic raises serious questions regarding potential wrongdoing and illegal activity by Dr. Daniel Morins. And then here is the email that they produced, and it was an email from Daniel Morins, and we have it here. It's there you see it better on the screen. It's dated June 28, 2021. It's from Dr. Morins at the National Institute of Health, the NIAID. And he wrote the following, quote, he wrote the following to Dr. Fauci, quote, sorry, he said, let me just check that.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Morins' email. And he said, quote, sorry, on April 18, 2020, Peter Daszak emailed me and Tony, congratulating Tony on standing up for science.
Tony is Tony Science, Anthony Fauci. So he said, Peter Daszak emailed me and Tony, congratulating Tony on standing up for science. And how was he standing up for science? By lying. Watch.
That was when Dr. Fauci warned that nobody should even question whether or not scientists in the Wuhan Institute of Virology were responsible for a lab leak. Peter called him and congratulated him for, quote, standing up for science by telling the public, even though they had no idea if it was true, that it was naturally occurring.
So that was called standing up for science by lying that the coronavirus originated in a wet market instead of originating in the Wuhan Viral Institute that Fauci was funding. So they call that standing up for science, meaning covering our ass. Because we'd get in trouble if everybody found out that we actually funded the gain-of-function research that produced this virus.
We own science. We own the science.
So they're congratulating him for lying.
Email somehow fell into the hands of a congressman, probably via a FOIA of someone who didn't delete it, as I did. Delete all of Peter's emails and others relating to the origin.
So did you see what he says? That email somehow fell into the hands of a congressman. The email where they thanked Tony Fauci for lying. That email got into the hands of a congressman, probably because of a FOIA, a Freedom of Information request. Of someone who didn't delete it. You're supposed to delete these emails.
Or pour acid on the hard drive if you're Hillary.
This guy says, as I did, I deleted all of Peter's emails and some others relating to the origin of the virus. When the shit started hitting the fan.
I thought deleting emails is not good enough to like get rid of an email.
According, I don't know. Here we go.
Shit started hitting the fan. He's saying the minute this became a controversy, I went and deleted all of Peter Daszak's emails and every other email relating to this so that nobody could get it from FOIA. Anyway, the congressman got a copy of Peter D's email from someone at NIH, and he now wants to get any reply Tony and I or anyone else may have sent back to Peter. Mine was erased long ago. I verified that today, and I feel pretty sure Tony's was too. Dr. Fauci's reply was also deleted. He went on, quote, the best way to avoid FOIA, which is the FOIA law that applies to them, to avoid FOIA hassles, is to delete all emails when you learn a subject is getting sensitive. So you have all these emails back and forth, and the minute you know Congress is interested or the public is interested or people suspect there was wrongdoing, you immediately go and delete them all. And then he concluded, quote, in any case, there is nothing here except opportunities to harass, hassle, and huff and puff. But of course, the public has no ability to determine that because they erased and deleted all of the evidence with the explicit intention of preventing it from being discoverable by Congress or from the public through FOIA laws. Something that is absolutely illegal to do. To go and either purposely put government emails on a private server to keep it away from the public, or to go and delete it when you know that it's being investigated. And that's what this email explicitly says they did.
Convict Trump.
Here's that notorious Lancet letter for those of you who don't.
Great.
Yeah, but they got Trump.
Remember, it was dated February 19, 2020. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, and it carried the name Peter Daszak, which you see in the yellow, along with several scientists who emailed Fauci within the week prior to say that they thought that all the indicia suggested a lab leak, not natural occurrence. And the letter was, quote, a statement in support of the scientists, public health professionals, and medical professionals of China combating COVID-19. This was the letter that shaped the public's understanding of the media's treatment and big tech's willingness to entertain debates. They declared right from the start that they knew something they had no idea was true, and that any questioning of it was racist, anti-scientific, and spreading of malicious disinformation. Quote, the rapid, open, and transparent sharing of data on this outbreak is now being threatened by rumors and misinformation about its origins. We stand together to strongly condemn conspiracy theories suggesting that COVID-19 does not have a natural origin. Scientists from multiple countries have published and analyzed genomes of a causative agent, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, and they overwhelmingly conclude that this coronavirus originated in wildlife, as have so many other emerging pathogens. This is further supported by a letter from the presidents of the U.S. National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, and by the scientific communities they represent. Conspiracy theories do nothing but create fear, rumors, and prejudice that jeopardize our global collaboration in the fight against this virus. This is one of the most corrupt things that has ever happened in the history of public health policy. That Lancet letter was a fraud down to its core in so many ways. The fact that Peter Daszak signed it with no disclosure of his conflicts, as obvious financial and reputational and career conflicts, given that he and Fauci both had direct connections and funding of the theory research in the Wuhan Institute of Lab Virology that was suspected as having caused the lab leak. All of this was a complete disgrace. It destroyed faith and trust in one of our remaining institutions that still commanded it, which were physicians and scientists and health professionals.
Well, good.
And now as the evidence comes out more and more, there's more and more evidence of just how corrupt and criminal and deceitful this was. They were purposely deleting exactly those emails that they knew would inform the public debate the minute controversies or questions started. They were using means to keep it out of the public's hands. You don't do that unless you are a deeply corrupt and deceitful individual. And that's what so many of the people were who formed the original COVID narrative and then dictated COVID policy over the next 3 years.
And it'll never say on Dr. Fauci or Peter Daszak's or any of their Wikipedia page that they spread misinformation about COVID. It says that about me. It says that about me or for factcheck.org, it says that about me, even though everything I've ever said about COVID was proven right. Everything I've ever said about the vaccine was proven right.
Why would the CIA want you to say the right thing about it?
Yeah.
I mean, what, like that blonde chick that who said we got to get around the First Amendment, the one with all
from NPR.
Yeah, she was the one in charge at Wikipedia, that lizard woman.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, you get why.
So here it is. That I don't have to show it. He just did in that. Patrick Webb says the Federal Records Act and corresponding code of federal regulations require all federal agencies to maintain records that document their activities, file records for safe storage and efficient retrieval, and dispose of records according to agency schedules so they can be properly archived for public access. So, and again, they're not going to be prosecuted. Fauci is not going to be prosecuted. He's not going to end up in jail. None of these people are, because they lied and cheated and screwed you over at the behest of the establishment.
I mean, we really do only have one story on the show every show.
I know.
There's one goddamn story.
This is the same story. You come see me on tour in Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Las Vegas, Davenport, Iowa, Chicago, Illinois. We're doing a live panel video show, special surprise guests on that show, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to Jimmy Dore because they don't want to buy it from a second reseller.